Many of us take bees for granted, but honeybees are vitally important for agriculture in Alabama. Today we're in Mobile County talking with beekeeper Troy Latham. Troy, thank you for taking just a few minutes to talk to us.
Hey, thanks for having me.
So to start out with, tell us a little bit about your operation.
I run and operate Latham Bee Farm, and we have about 55 colonies. I sell honey and I sell bees, but a portion of my colonies are dedicated strictly to education. I'm an educator, and so I enjoy teaching kids and the general public about bees.
All right, great. Well, we've got some questions here that were submitted by some of our Simply Southern viewers that we want to ask you about being a beekeeper. So Lisa McGinney wants to know, what do bees eat, and should I feed them, or do they get everything they need from Mother Nature?
That's a yes and no kind of answer. Bees get all of their food from flowers. They're out there looking for nectar, they're looking for pollen. But this time of year, August, there's not very much out there blooming, and so some bees, they could use some help. We do feed our bees when we're in the dearth, and we've extracted a lot of honey, but in general, in the natural world, yeah, it doesn't hurt to help bees out any way that you can.
And in what way would you do that?
People put feeders out with a little bit of sugar water. Sometimes they grate apples up and let it soak in the water so that the bees can extract that sugar and nutrients out of them. So in the wintertime, you could put dry sugar out and let the bees find that when there's a warm day. So there's different ways. I'd research and see what works best for you.
Okay, great. Thank you for that. Ruth Ann Kilgore McCarty wants to know, do beekeepers put out water for bees in the summer?
Yeah, most of us that run an apiary, we try to put our bees close to water within a reasonable distance, but sometimes that's just not logistically possible. And so, yeah, we recommend that you put some kind of feeder, a trough, something out there that the bees can get to get water. They use it not only to survive, but they have to have it to help regulate the temperature in their hive. So water is very important.
Okay. Well, Melinda Wilkes wants to know, how far must a hive be moved in order to be relocated?
You know, the general rule of thumb is 2 miles. I've moved it a shorter distance many times, but if you're a new beekeeper and you're playing around with this and you want to play it safe, I'd say 2 miles and then start experimenting from there.
Okay. Anita Whitley Hedgepath wants to know, why does smoke calm bees? That's a question I've often wondered.
Yeah, you know, it's not that smoke really calms the bees. When bees are disturbed, when we open a hive, when an animal is fooling around, they give off alarm pheromones. And so that smoke gets in there and it masks those pheromones so that the bees can't communicate with each other. And not only that, in the wild, researchers, scientists, they seem to think that this is a way that bees will gorge themselves when they smell smoke in order to be able to move in case there's a forest fire. So it's not really about calming the bees, but just keeping them completely distracted while you do what you need to do.
Okay, very interesting. Amanda Ward wants to know, how do you introduce bees to a colony, and do they fight?
They will fight if you're introducing a lot of bees to a new colony. And the way that we do that generally is to place a piece of newspaper between the donor box and the box that it's being introduced into, so that as they eat through that newspaper, they're slowly introduced to that new queen. Now, if I have a hive that's struggling and I need to put a frame of bees in there, then I'll just move that frame, bees and all, and it generally works out. But if you're doing a large quantity of bees, you got to do it carefully.
Okay, well, Amanda had a second part to her question. What is the natural lifespan of a bee?
It depends on the time of year. In the spring, they live about 35 days, the workers. In the wintertime, these workers that are about to start hatching out, they'll live about 3 months. That keeps that brood nest warm and stable through the winter until they can get going again when the flowers start to bloom again. All
right, well, Troy Latham, thank you for answering these questions from our viewers. If you have a question for an Alabama farmer, send it to askafarmer@simplysouthern.tv.net.
What sustains us? Food? Family? Faith. Alabama farmers live those things every day. They conserve our resources, clothe our families, and fill our tables. They cultivate jobs for our communities, and values for our future. Farmers grow it all, right here in Alabama.
What one thing can you say about your local quality co-op store? You can trust us. You get what you need for your farm, for your lawn and garden, and the safest products for your pets. We're locally owned and operated, and you can trust that we care about our community and the people in it. So if you're a raised bed gardener, a rose gardener, or if you farm hundreds of acres, the Quality Co-op Store has exactly what you need to get the job done. All this plus friendly, knowledgeable advice. Your Quality Co-op Store. There's one near you.
A farmer has to live on faith. We do all we can do, but we can only control so much.
Alabama is the second largest poultry growing state in the nation, so we're trying our best to grow all the corn we can for that.
What we produce not only feeds and clothes all of the United States, but about half of what we make goes on to the world market.
We've been able to improve yields, have some things that can help us produce a better crop. I'm proud of the product we make and proud that I can say I'm an Alabama farmer.
For more Simply Southern, follow us on social media. And while you're online, visit our website, simplysouthern.tv.net. Simply Southern continues in a moment.
Sweet Grown Alabama is such an amazing brand. It'll be great for consumers to be able to connect immediately with an Alabama grown or made product.
Sweet Grown Alabama, what it means to us is community. By buying Sweet Grown Alabama, you are able to support your community and kind of play your part and help the farmers.
There's a huge advantage just to your local community by buying local, whether it's local farms or local businesses.
Find Sweet Grown Alabama farms, markets, restaurants, and stores near you at sweetgrownalabama.org.